Hey guys, it's Kr0nix, and today we're going to be looking at the Karak.
What we do here is go back.
So first off, when we look at the Karak, there's a few variants. We have the standard Karak, we have the Karak wraith, and the Kuva Karak. The Karak wraith you get from syndicates. So you can get it, I think it's Red Veil, and you'll be able to go pick it up from there for just some standing. If you were to buy it from somewhere like Warframe Market, I think it's about 40, 30 platinum. It's nothing too expensive. We'll take a look at the Karak wraith. So let's take a look. Alright, let's start from nothing. Alright, so the accuracy is good. 28 is a good accuracy. It's going to be very accurate. 30% crit chance is a little on the low side. And same with the critical multiplier. It's very much standard, nothing particularly great there. Fire rate's pretty good. Magazine's decent. Multi-shot, I mean, just like anything else. Reload speed's 2 seconds. Really good Riven disposition. Nice status, and obviously automatic. Now we can see that the Karak is impact based. The most dominant stat by far is impact. So you would probably not want to build for a viral because of the low crit chance and the fact that slash is the lowest stat. There is a way you might be able to negate that by adding, extra, like faster shooting, with like split chamber, multi-shot, serration, prime shred, which I just got today, which is fantastic, just in time for the video. 100 munitions would be your go-to for every viral build you're going for. It just seems to work more than anything else. We'll try to boost the crit up as much as we can. So quite an expensive one, but you got Argon Scope, which could help out quite a bit. And if we're going for viral, let's see, status is a must. We want as much status as we can. See, there you go. Look, we're gonna have to take off something for the viral effect. We'll take off shred, just to because we can throw that on there. And there we go. Now we've got a viral build. Let's go take a look at how this does against some of these people. These are 165s. It should do okay. It shouldn't be anything spectacular, but it should be okay. See, it does, it's okay damage. It's nothing you're gonna be freaking out to try and get. Not this version anyway. Does okay on Corpus. I imagine it's gonna wreckfest it quite quick. But yeah, as expected, just the way it is. Obviously, corrupted. The corrupted bombards don't like viral. They're very weak to it. Now that was the viral build. I personally would go for corrosive because you got such a high impact damage. Viral, you just need to proc once, while corrosive, you need to proc continuously. And viral procking once with how low the slash is, even if you do boost the crit chance up to 32.5% and then an extra, 135%. On top, it's still not a highest crit chance. Now the critical chance from this plus 135% is 135% of the base stats. So it's 135% of, I think it was 13%. So not particularly great. Yeah, 13. So it's 135% more on top of 13, not 32.5. It does it on the base stats, not the ones you've multiplied. Now, if we change this up, say if we just swap that out, just for instance, and we throw in a jolt, high voltage, that's it. Okay, so we throw that in. It's corrosive. It's not much more corrosive, because it's the same corrosive damage as viral. But if we went to go shoot these people now, and because we're running corrosive, we don't particularly need 100 munitions. So we can swap that over there, and we can boost the corrosive even more by bringing something like Infected Clip to make it the stat priority. We'll just throw on vigilant supplies there as well. Here. Everyone try this out on a few people. So you got the same heavy gunner. Obviously we're not getting the slash procs, but the initial damage is more solid. Especially considering these people hate, they do not like corrosive. Moas seem to be getting hit with a bit more damage, because we're not waiting for the bleeding effect. And if we look at the boiler, it's still very potent. I think this will probably be the only downside, is fighting a corrupted bombard compared to the rest. Yeah, so you are going to run into a little bit of a struggle versus one of these guys here. We've also got some corpus tech here, which it does okay against. Once again, nothing great. It is just the Karak wraith, and ancient healers are fine. That's solid damage for 165s. This is ideally what you'd want to go for a corrosive build. If you have enough slots, you know, maybe if you have a decent status chance, or you think you can manage, you could swap out high voltage, maybe put in Stonebringer, get a higher amount of corrosive. Slightly less status, but it's fine. If you can find a Riven, so like I've got a Riven here, the Kr0nix Hexata. So the fact that it's got plus 108 status chance means I can drop one of my 60/60 mods. No problem. So we'll swap that over there. We'll throw it in there instead. Now, because we've swapped out the 60/60 mod, we also get, I think 60/60 was only 60% status. Well, now we're getting 108, so already better off. You get 115.6% multi-shot, so guaranteed an extra bullet. We're now at 3.1, which is really nice, especially for a status weapon. And plus 184 damage on top. Now, if you look at the minus 117.4 impact, we've now negated all of that impact damage, which is our second highest stat in priority. Now, corrosive is number 1 and puncture's number 2. Puncture's not much better than impact, but at least they're not going to be moving around when we're shooting them in the head. So status has gone up, multi-shot's gone up, and we've negated impact. Let's take a look at just what a negative IPS Riven can do. These are the exact same people we faced before, 165s. And that's significantly better. We'll shoot one of these healers. Yeah, not much trouble there. We're looking at anti-MOA. It's good enough for them. Look at a boiler. Yeah, no problem. Corpus Tech, probably one of the hardest to fight. It'll probably just wreck through his shields. Probably a couple bullets to start off, and then it'll pick up and just wreck itself. Yeah, see, that's not bad. That's okay. I don't think you need to be very high master rank to have this. And you don't even need to make it. It's one of the syndicate weapons. You just buy it off someone or craft it yourself. Now, if we look at the newer Kr0nix, I have 2 here. I use one of 2 options. I either bring the radiation. It's 47%. It can go up to 60. Quite hard to find 60, but in the newest update you can like fuse them together and you get a lot more options. Or another 15.9%. Alright, so now that we've tried this with corrosive, because we've got negative impact, we're getting rid of it. We're getting rid of all that impact damage. So slash is higher up in priority. And if we move out, say we get rid of that, and we throw in, say, 60/60s, and hunting munitions as well. So if we throw hunting munitions in there, and then we get rid of we throw malignant force in, and we also need rhyme rounds. So we've got very high status. We're going to be proccing a lot. And we also have a 30% chance to apply slash on critical hits. But now there's actually a chance we're going to be getting the all of those slash procs now. We're not going to have the impact throwing us off every 2 seconds. So we'll get a few of these ancient healers in here. We'll get some bombards, some heavy gunners. We'll get some corpus tech. And we'll go try it out. All 165. The overall slash, I mean, shooting them like this, obviously, just pure health. We'll take a look at we'll take a look at the bombard. Yeah, see, those are quite good. And there should be some heavy gunners over here. Where are these guys coming from? Alright, we take a look at the gunner. The bleeding damage is going to get that done. So, just like any viral weapon, get him around half health and the viral will take the rest. So, if we take a look at the Kuva Karak, the crit chance is an extra 10%, 0.1 multiplier, an extra 10 bullets in the magazine. You get a little bit of puncture through as well, 0.3 reload speed less. The status gone from 25 to 31, so benefit in every way. Impact's not the most dominant stat, it is now slash, which is really good. And the Riven disposition has gone down by 1. But we do have Toxin built on the weapon, so if we were to run viral on this, which would work out very well, it would make the weapon significantly better having the slash stat there, and already having some Toxin on already. Okay, we'll quickly take a look at one of the viral builds. Okay, so if we take a look at this, running Serration, the 260-60s, Vital Sense, Point Strike. I like using Prime Shred personally, just for quality of life. And we obviously have Hunting Munitions, just to get those extra slash procs. I think mine is 50% Toxin, so we don't need one of the Toxin ones if we don't need it. But those impacts, especially with this level of fire rate, I still recommend normal shred, even if you don't have prime shred. Yeah, it's significantly better. It's most definitely better than the previous. Now, if we take some of these off, because we already have the Toxin on there, we can take off Prime Shred if you didn't want it, and we can add something like Argon Scope. The more crit chance, the more slashes. 13% base from the other Karak, now to 23. Let's see some of these slashes now. I mean, that doesn't seem very high on him, but you get them down to half. Yeah, it's doing okay. Personally, I would advise on going for a Radiation Karak, because Radiation is just going to get their base damage up entirely, as well as it procs. It's almost like a CC. It's making them shoot each other, as well as you do more damage against them. And Corrosive, Radiation's more against the Bombards. It also helps with shields, a bit of everything, and it also takes off some of the effects from like an Ancient Healer. Radiation's going to negate that. As Corrosive is just going to melt everything else in its path, and worst comes to worst, slash will finish them off if the Corrosive isn't going to get it done. So if we take a look at the Corrosive build here with Radiation, we've got normal Shred, Infected, Split Chamber, Stonebringer, Vital Sense, Point Strike, and Serration. You could use Heavy Caliber in there. You could use Hunting Munitions if you wanted that. I think so. In that slot, you can add whatever you want else. For me, with Radiation and Corrosive, I would normally go for something like Argon Scope, just to boost up the base damage, just to make it more consistent of us proccing. It depends what you're like, if you're getting headshots or not. Because we've already got Stormbringer, we've already got Infected Clip. You could go with Argon Scope to boost up your crit, or something like High Voltage to increase that corrosive damage. If we go take a look at what this is, the Radiation version of the build. So it still does solid damage on them. With these guys, it's significantly nicer. A lot more solid versus those guys. Obviously, we do have Shred on here. So if there is two stuck together, one behind each other, it doesn't really matter. So you're going to be getting them all really, really fast. Now, what I would do, you have two variations. You can either use the Radiation build, or you can use the Toxin build. Those seem to be the two best. So this is normally the Karak I use. I like going full on corrosive. On other weapons, I tend to use slash, like my Nikana. I use it on there instead. I tend to variate between different weapons for different elements. So if we have shred on there, this is the build I use personally. I use that. I like using my Karak in there. I like using my rivet in there. So with prime shred, we're going to go up to 2.4 punch through. Fire rate's going to go up a lot. Decent crit chance, a lot higher accuracy than the wraith. We get 4.6 times multiplier with everything on. Slightly lower disposition, but better reload speed. Better status base. Impacts almost nothing. Corrosives very, very high. So if we go take a look at this, this is the toxin version of the Karak. It's got 50% toxin built into it already in the Kuva Karak, and this is it with a ribbon. Let's take a look. It's a negative IPS mod. It's got minus impact. As you can see, it's versing corrupted heavy gunners. I see a lot of people saying how bad the Karak is or how unusable it is, but it is absolutely ridiculous. If you can find a decent ribbon, it doesn't have to be anything godly, but a negative IPS one is quite good. On Kuva Karak, it's not as needed because of the fact that impact is not the main damage type of the weapon. So if you can find something like a Karak, if you roll something like crit chance, multi-shot, crit damage, standard damage, maybe you can roll something else instead of having one of the 90 mods, because the ribbon disposition you can reach about 90% if you found toxin, as well as stack that up with the toxin already on the weapon. If you find negative puncture or negative impact, both good. Never take off slash. Slash always is a need on every weapon. You never really want that negative. So that's a quick look at the Karak Wraith and the Kuva Karak radiation and toxin variants. If you have any questions, comment below. And if you have any suggestions for another weapon, write in the comments and I'll get back to you. Thank you. I'll see you next time.